Hey guys, this Tom up here at Chigger Hill again, and as you can see behind me, it is a sunshiny blue sky day. It is already over 80 degrees and about 60% humidity. Pretty sticky out here. Anyway, I'm going to do a quick video on setting up my Frontier RC 2060 rotary cutter. Commonly called a bush hog, but you know, that's a brand name. And this here came with a John Deere package. There's my tractor, there's my bush hog, and we'll go over some settings that you need to be aware of to make it work properly. All right, I'm going to just spin you around here and we're going to talk about some of this. All right, there's my, like I said, Frontier rotary mower. We're just gonna call it a bush hog, but whether that's what you call it or not, it's up to you. All right, one of the prime things that I've seen a lot of people forget to do is set this rear wheel. All right, as you can see, there are multiple settings here that line up for you to fine-tune adjust this following wheel. And what does that wheel do? It keeps the rear end at a predetermined height, and it helps to you know, keep it off the terrain when you're going over rough terrain. It helps raise and lower the rear of it to keep it from digging in and all that. If you ever used a bush hog, you know what I'm talking about. All right, so I've got that set at about 5 inches. Okay, so set it up on something flat like this concrete or flat pasted in your driveway or whatever, and set that. When you drop your, hang on a minute, let me get up here. When you drop your 3-point hitch down, look down in here and see about where it's at. As you can see, hopefully, that one is set at about 5 inches. That is where that rear tire just touched the concrete and took weight. Okay, is it about 5 inches? Now then, the reason that's important, as you can see, hopefully, that mower is still at a slight angle toward the tractor. It's up higher at the tractor than it is at the back. Okay, what does that tell me? That tells me that I need to let the front end down some. Also, if you can see there, I have my drop stop set at 4 inches. Right there, when I come back over here and look, now I've got just a little drop at the front. Still pretty close, it's almost level, but it's not level. It's about an inch drop to the front. That's the way I like to run mine. You run yours how you want, but I'm gonna tell you, if it's the back is dragging, it's not gonna cut very good. It's gonna get plugged up. You're gonna have a lot of trouble clearing the trash out the back. It needs to be cut a little harder at the front so that it blows the trash out the back, and as the grass will lay over as the mower goes over it. It'll cut, the front will cut it, and as the grass stands back up, the back will just kind of make sure that it's trimmed off right. All right, the other thing, set this, as you can see, this floats. See where it's floating? Right now it's floating right in the middle, right where I want it. That's, you set that here with your drawbar attachment, with your adjustable top link. Okay, the little riding bar here is riding right in the crook. This is right in the middle. of your adjustment. So that gives your rear end the ability to lift and lower as you go over the terrain. All right, so that's your adjustable top link there. Make sure you get that hooked up. Of course, always hook up your PTO safety chain. Make sure that's all not spinning. You can see here, grease everything, and you'll be good to go. Now then, we'll walk over here, and I've already been mowing with it a little bit. We get over there, we'll talk about it some more. But anyway, hang on just a second. All right, here we are where I've been cleaning up a little bit. Over here around our bees, there's our bee crop. They seem to be doing okay. They're already hot. They're already hanging out on the front porch. But anyway, as you can see, this is about how my mower, my rotary mower, leaves the grass. It doesn't look too bad. Does it look like a lawnmower would leave it? Well, not really, but you can see it's clear. It's not a lot of scragglers. You can see where it's exhausted the cut grass. Nothing's laid over too bad. Mow's pretty good. Right here, you can see how this land had been terraced a long time ago, and that is how the mower, the back wheel, keeps it from digging in when you come one way and holds it up as you go the other. Also, you can see these long stems. See all those long stems where those sprouts were cut. Now when those die and get hard, they will puncture a tire. So we're going to have to do something about that here in a minute. But I've got a way to handle them. But probably won't put that on the video because it's a little not ready for prime time method. Anyway, the other thing is, if you run over some of these bigger bushes, like these saplings right here, this is the kind of mess it leaves you, right? It's not going to cut that. It's going to more or less beat it in half, because the one thing you don't want is to sharpen your rotary cutter like a lawnmower. If you do that, you're going to break it. You're going to break the ends of the cutting blades. You're going to keep them pitted out and all that, unless you're using it just as a mower. But anytime, as you can see here, see how this land is terraced around. Every time you go over one of those terraces, you risk running into the ground. These stumps and all that kind of stuff that are out here, you can see, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's some potholes here, and that rear tire helps keep it up off the keep it from digging in too bad. There's another stump, another little sapling that if we don't get that took care of, it's going to puncture a hole. All right, other thing is, there's a stump, hidden stump. You got to watch for those kind of things when you're using your rotary cutter. One thing I got asked about was these fallen sticks. Well, I can tell you that bush hog does not mind fallen sticks. Set it up high enough where you're not going to be in the dirt and you can run right over them. It's not a problem. It's made for that kind of rough mowing. Here are some little pieces. I mowed right over them. It just chews them up. It sends them out the back. Right over here, I had to cut a little drainage because this here was holding water. Right there, it got into the dirt, made a big dust puff, but it kept right on mowing. You get it set up right, you can see here I've mowed over quite a bit different terrain in just this one little 1 acre spot. And you don't see any bald spots. You don't see where the mowers got into the dirt too bad, other than that one place that got in the dirt. But over here where it's terraced, having it properly set up, it's moved right over those terraces without digging in, without tearing anything up. And the other thing someone else asked me about was mowing in reverse. All right, anytime you are backing up, let me get back over here, and right here, right in this little area, I had to back in from that area, backed in between them 2 trees, and stopped right here, okay? Because I can mow forward and meet up with that. Don't mow backwards in areas you haven't either mowed before or haven't thoroughly investigated, because if you back up, like I backed into right here, and just as soon as I backed into it, these pine trees, as you notice, they push up, they put a little mound around them, and it got into that dirt right there just a little bit. But I had been in here, had mowed this before, and so I just backed in, done what I wanted, and come out. I probably could have continued backing in and backing in, but what I didn't know was what was behind it. And you look back here on the back side of this terrace, you shouldn't do that, because what happens is your mower will stay level with the tractor, and as soon as your rear wheels go over that terrace, it drops down, and there's a big lump of dirt right here, a little drainage. There's no telling what it might kick up. It's hard on your tractor, it's hard on your PTO, so don't do it. I highly recommend that you don't do it. But now, that being said, it's your tractor, it's your bush hog, it's your equipment. If you have to do something, do it as safely as possible. I mowed this right here. I mowed that little piece right there in reverse, because there was no way for me to get my tractor in a forward motion far enough past where I wanted to mow without getting into some areas that I was not interested in mowing. So I backed into there, and I backed in over here, and as you can see, didn't get into the dirt too bad. Got a lot of stumps, a lot of these stobs I gotta come back in here and take care of. But anyway, I wanted to make a little video about using that rotary cutter, or bush hog, whatever you want to call it. It actually leaves a pretty good cut if you set it up properly and don't get too crazy. You know, if you get out here and think, hey man, I want to mow over a 3-inch tree stump, no you're not. You know, as these little stobs show right here, those there were probably 3/4 of an inch around. It cuts them absolutely no problem. These little sweet gum saplings here, it eats them like weeds. It don't even hardly make a noise about those. This little old oak tree right here, it ain't going to do that. As you can see, that's about a 2-inch. Just about a 2-inch down there at the base. Ain't no way. It's not going to push that over and cut that. Contrast that with this 2-inch rotten limb. Yeah, it'll cut that, no problem, not a problem. All this brush that you see laying right in here, it's going to cut all that, no problem. But anything that's more than, I'm going to say, an inch as a good rule of thumb, you want to be cautious about trying to beat it down with your rotary mower. Anyhow, that's all I had for today. I just wanted to share that with y'all. Set up your rotary mower properly. The one thing I didn't talk about, and let me get back up there and I'll show you one more thing I forgot to mention while we were setting it up. All right, one additional thing I wanted to add about setting your rotary cutter up is to make sure that when it goes all the way over, you see these stays right here? Can't tell with the glare, but you have to adjust those to where that knot doesn't hit your tractor tire. All right. So you say, how do you do that? Well, the best way to do it, of course, you got to loosen this little lock nut here, turn this stem, and that adjusts the other side. Okay, so to keep the left side from hitting the left side tire, you adjust the right hand adjuster. Okay, so as you can see here, I've got an inch or so clearance around that tire. Right, same thing on this side. When you pull that to you, you should have an inch or so clearance between that tire, and that's done with those adjusters. Okay, so be sure and do that when you're setting this up, because what you don't want is when you're mowing is this thing to be fishtailing around behind you and hitting your tractor tire right here. One thing, it makes an awful noise. Another thing is it destroys the edge of your tires right here. I'm not sure how much actual damage it's going to do, other than if it was interfering really bad, it would be really bad. Okay, so anyway, just set that up, and don't make it rigid. It doesn't need to be rigid. It can float, you know, an inch or two, but keep an inch clearance right here and you'll be fine. All right, I think that's it. Running at 5,400 or 540, I'm sorry, 540 PTO. Running at 540, that's what it's made to run at. If you running into some heavy brush, you know, go slow. I'm going to show you something here about backing into stuff. As you can see, this big old dent here, that happened because when I was backing in to do a little bit of cutting, I didn't see a tree that was standing right here and backed into it and bent the back of that. Did it hurt the mower? No. Am I gonna have to bend it out? Yeah, I'm gonna have to bend it out. If you do too much reverse mowing, you're gonna tear up the back of your mower. Is it hurting anything? Well, maybe, maybe not. As long as you don't back into something so solid that it pushes it into the blade, you'll be all right. But just remember, set this height first. Set that first. You can, whenever, oops, let me get around over here to the other side. I'm going to show you here, if I can. As you let this down, you see where that tire is going to hit right there, and it took up weight. We should be at about 5 inches in here. All right, it says 5.5. We're pretty close to 5 inches. There you go. You can see there it took up just a little bit more weight. Now we're at 5 inches. Set your drop stop at 4 inches. That gives that an extra inch of drop at the front. You'll be good to go. Anyhow, y'all have a good day, and be safe out there, because these things are notoriously dangerous. They sling a lot of stuff around, but if you're cautious and safety minded, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And just remember, it's your equipment. If you need to alter it a little bit from the factory, do that with caution, because you need to realize you can kill yourself by making stupid alterations to your equipment. Anyhow, y'all have a good day.